I woke up in the middle of the night and made a sketch. And that sketch turned out to be this piece. I had no reason to do this particular thing, except in my mind I had the experience of the descent from the cross. Well, I pretty much had given up hope of ever having this made in a life size. And then Tom Jordan out at the cemetery, he was the director, is the director, and he called and he said he was the director of the cemetery. And I just jokingly said, well, I don't even feel unwell. But he came and he told me what he was looking to have in the center as a piece, a dominant piece. And so I showed him the model. And it was just, you had a guy who was hopeful of making something, kind of meeting a person who is hopeful of having something. And two worlds met, and so now we are. Just about a year later, we're ready to put it up. Whenever I have a piece of work that I mean to have a spiritual quality, I always have an angel. And so this angel I had in my mind was holding the shoulder and the arm of Christ, helping St. John, who is right below him, who is holding the other shoulder, and his body is at an angle down, and it is lifeless. But at the bottom, Mary is kissing the hand of Jesus. And so the whole is the descent from the cross, and actually it becomes the ascent into our lives. So it is the falling and the rising. People always say, well, who is the angel? Is it Gabriel? Is it? And I say, no, it isn't Gabriel. It is you. Because you are the angelic force in the lives of your families, your friends. You keep people, you nourish them, you get them well. You do what angels do. You are the angel. And I think that's very true for me. Well, I think of St. John mostly because I love his gospel. And he seems always to me not giving just the events of the life of Christ, but he sees it in its transcendent life of light and dark, joy and sorrow, love, and then he experiences the rejection that Jesus received all the time. He was rejected. And I wanted, since he is the beloved disciple, I wanted him to be the one who helps to take Jesus down. Part of the passion was not just the nails and the thorns and the lashing. It was seeing his mother's face trying to absorb watching her son being destroyed. And I think that was as much of pain for him as the physical pain. And Mary, as once the whole thing begins, because when she's down there in Nazareth, and the angel come and he says, you shall be the mother of the Messiah. Now she had to say something, and she said yes. And as a result of her yes, the incarnation begins. Well, here, as she kisses his dead hand, she is saying yes to his suffering. When people see the statue, I want them to see the direction that Jesus is coming down from the cross to give us life. His death overcomes death. And so when they're sitting there in the garden, I'd like them to be aware of their pain of loss and to have that overcome by their hope of continuing life in the arms of Jesus and his Father. Well, at 88, I don't climb ladders too easily. So I had two very good sculptors, Pedro Diaz and Ramon Lago, and they both worked together, and they were able to lift and carry, and I would continually be there, but they were very, very helpful. The core of all the work was the model. So every measurement, from this part of the wing to the floor to the hand, all of those had to be done over and over and over. And so it is exactly what the model was, the statue will be. It's 13.5 feet from the top of the base till the top of the wing. And it is about 1,200 or 1,300 pounds. Well, it's meant to be outdoors, and what I look forward to is see the play of light on it, because it is remarkable how the images in their faces change with light. Well, I think for any artist, the enemy is always time. So you do pretty much anything to overcome time. So you pencil sketches by the board, even inks by the board. But when you can get it into something the time is going to have to respect, or at least for a century or two, it is a great honor, and it was a privilege to be able to do it. And the opportunity afforded by the cemetery to have this piece become real and not just a sketch in my mind or a little model is awesome. There are two paths coming in from the front of the cemetery, and in between there's a kind of island, and in the middle of the island, or forward in the island, that we're setting up a base, and then it will be the main point for what we will call the garden. It is the garden of sadness and hope. And so here we will have a very beautiful idea of a reflecting pool and benches so that you could sit and pray, you could sit and think, but mostly we would hope that you would sit and hope.